feel this is their year.
They must be playing defensive. Schmeichel's not coming up for this one. Thinks he's done enough.
Is this their moment? Beckham. Into Sheringham. And Solskjaer has won it! Manchester United have reached the promised land. Ole Solskjaer. 272. That's scored the 2 goals in stoppage time.
4,
And the treble looms large.
1.
Hello and welcome to the United Community Podcast, and we're back with episode number 9 of the podcast. And by God, have we got something to talk about tonight. Cristiano Ronaldo, what are you doing to me? Obviously, where have you been if you haven't heard? Cristiano Ronaldo, after coming out with an absolute game changer of an interview. So we're going to dive into what he said, the quotes. He's had some harsh words to say about Ten Hag, about the club, even about Ralph Rangnick. So we're going to dive into that. But it's not all going to be negative. We're also going to talk about Garnacho and how good he can potentially be. We're going to give our midweek season review our mid-season review and our mid-season team of the season. We're going to look back at some of the predictions that we went with. We're also going to talk a little bit about the World Cup and who can potentially win it. And then, of course, our whale of the week. It's going to be a very interactive one as well, guys. Get all your thoughts and your comments into the chat. Obviously, massive breaking news in the last 24 hours or so around Ronaldo. But again, as usual, we have Ricey back on for another week. How are you doing, man?
Well, Jack, how are you?
All good, all good. So look, let's get into it straight away. And obviously the main talking point in the world over the last 24 hours has been Cristiano Ronaldo and this groundbreaking interview that he's done with Piers Morgan. Now, we've only got snippets of it. Obviously, the main interview is coming in a 2-part series, both Wednesday and Thursday. But we're going to start off by running through some of the comments maybe that he made and, you know, some of the issues that he brought up and things like that. And I'd like to know, obviously you're going to get Ricey's opinion here. I'd like you to get your opinions into the chat as well, guys. Let me know what you think. And of course, smash a like on the video if you're watching live on YouTube. So let's start out. Obviously, Cristiano Ronaldo done an interview with Piers Morgan. It wasn't a sanctioned interview by any stretch of the imagination with Manchester United, and he's had some damning things to say about the club and some individuals within the club. He basically has come out and said he feels betrayed by Manchester United for trying to force him out of the club. He says he has no respect for boss Erik Ten Hag because he doesn't show respect for me. So, you know, it's not a good look. It's not a good look. He was asked as well, you know, about hierarchy trying to force him out of the club. Ronaldo said, yes, not only the coach, but the other 2 or 3 guys around the club. I feel betrayed. When quizzed again about this, about, you know, senior club executives trying to oust him, he said, honestly, I don't know. I don't care. People should hear the truth. Yes, I feel betrayed. Some people don't want me here, not only this year, but last year too. He goes on as well then to say he was asked obviously about individuals. And for example, an interesting point he says is how a club like Manchester United sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They bring in a sporting director, Ralph Rangnick, which is something nobody understands. This guy is not even a coach. A big club like Manchester United bringing in a sporting director surprised not only me, but all the world. I didn't even know who he was. And of course, then the one area I suppose I can agree with him on is in relation to maybe the facilities that he was surprised with. He mentioned that nothing changed, and not only the jacuzzi, the pool, the gym, even some points of technology, the kitchens, the chef, all basically remained the same since he left and since, you know, subsequently he came back. Obviously, Ricey, you're not a United fan, so as an outsider looking in, I'd like to get your thoughts on it before I give you mine. Because I'm not going to go easy on them, but I'd like to know what you think.
Yeah, well, I don't think anybody can really defend the manner he came out in. Like, if something similar along the same lines of what Lukaku done last year, and like Lukaku essentially signed, sealed, and delivered his own execution. Got shipped off to Milan on a year or 2 year loan. That's obviously what he wanted. That's the reason he came out and said that he missed Milan. I know they're two different scenarios, but it's along the same lines. Just shows the power of media these days. Also, like, why you go to Piers Morgan?
Oh,
like
Jesus.
he's like Marmite.
Yeah.
You love him or you hate him. He did this, like, this is obviously publicity for Piers Morgan too. Ronaldo obviously had this on his chest. Like, does this come back to when did Ronaldo know at Christmas this was going to happen? Remember when was it or not Christmas? At the end of the season, remember, or at the end of preseason, he came out, didn't he, and said, "Oh, everything will be unveiled in an interview in a couple of weeks or something like that." Never really materialized. Is this the interview he was on about? Maybe it was just delayed. I'm a big fan of Ronaldo, and like a credit to him for the kind of glistening career that he's had. But I can't really defend in any way that, although I do agree with certain points he has, I don't think United have good owners. I think they've one of the worst owners in the Premier League for the way the club is run. Yeah, they pump in money, but they throw money to almost just cover up potholes. They don't actually tar the whole road. But the way Ronaldo came out in this, as much as I be a fan of him, I can't really defend him. And it's almost like he's trying to, like, not that he's trying to, but he's ruining his legacy at United. Like, I see here, just from his previous stint to United, he has 9 trophies. He has 3 Premier Leagues, Champions League. Like, he won a lot of individual honours there too. Ballon d'Or, World Player of the Year. You know, from going back with United have a lot of players that have a lot of trophies, like Keane, Neville, like all the class of 92. They had, like, Giggs. They have 10, 11, 12 Premier League titles. So he's not stand out there on his own in anything like that. Maybe for individual awards he has a lot, but he is pulling down that legacy.
But I think one of the important words you said there is individual awards. Yeah. And that's all I think he's ever. Now look, and we know as fans, and we could take that, the fact that he was very selfish and it was all about him and not about the team, and I think that's okay when you have a prime Ronaldo at 24 years of age that's absolutely ripping it up and winning Ballon d'Ors and scoring 40 goals, a season. But when you have a 37-year-old Ronaldo who's nowhere near as good as he was, and he still believes himself and he still thinks himself that he should be the main man that everything revolves around, it's never going to end well. It really isn't, and like, I have to say, you're talking about legacy there. I think his, and I've listened to a lot of stuff today about, different outlets saying about legacy, and people will say, look, in 20 years time, people won't remember this part of Ronaldo's United legacy. It'll be the 3 leagues in a row, a Champions League on top of that, along with a Ballon d'Or. And I don't think that's the case. I think for a lot of fans, this is really, really going to damage his legacy. He'll always be, one of Manchester United's greatest players. Does he go down as a Manchester United legend now? Not in my eyes anymore. I'm absolutely disgusted with him, and some of the things that he's come out with and some of the statements that he said, to come out and publicly, I suppose, go against your current club who's paying you fucking 500 grand a week, right? And not only that, to come out against your manager, come out against a previous manager. So if we look at the last 2 managers for Manchester United, obviously Erik ten Hag and Ralf Rangnick, both of them didn't, Ralf Rangnick pulled him off a couple of times and he wasn't happy about it through his ties in, out of the pram. Erik ten Hag obviously is not using him the way Ronaldo would like to be used, and he doesn't like it. And I think he's a petty man for some of the things he's come out with, to stick the knife in Erik ten Hag, and say that he feels betrayed. Now, for someone to come out and say, I feel betrayed, this is a lad that in 2009 said he felt like that he was being caged. He was a caged animal. at Manchester United when they wouldn't let him leave. Then he comes back and he hands in a transfer request in the summer, publicly says that he wants to leave. He misses pre-season. Now, with pre-season, he did say it was a family issue. And I will always take that at face value, because supposedly it was his 3-month-old daughter was sick and was in hospital and he couldn't go. And I will always take that at face value, because if he's lying about that, then it's not something anyone should ever do. So you'd always take that at face value. But then he comes back into the squad. He misses pre-season, and Ten Hag basically is saying he's not up to speed. That's why I'm not starting him. And he plays the last preseason game, leaves at halftime. Wasn't the only one that left. Okay, absolutely. That's, no issue there. He was reprimanded. You fast forward then to October. He was left on the bench against City. And Ten Hag said, I'm not bringing him on out of respect, and you go, was it 2 weeks later then, against Spurs, refused to come onto the pitch as a substitute, storms down the tunnel before full time. So that's the second time that he leaves before, while his teammates are still out on the pitch. He gets suspended then for the next game. And, now he comes out with all of this while he's still being paid by the club. I think his legacy is in tatters, in my opinion.
Yeah, I do. I can't see any reason why he came out by this. The clear thing is he wants to leave the club. I was reading different articles today. One of the articles was saying he knows what he's doing here. He knows the club will terminate his contract now. He'll have more. Of course he does. He'll have more glamorous offers if he's a free agent and doesn't have to be bought out of a contract or anything like. I know United would probably let him go for free anyway if a possible suitor came in, but yeah, just that comment that you put there. Piers Morgan must be buzzing when Cristiano Ronaldo said he'd do the interview. Ronaldo is a dumbass in this situation. He tried to leave in the summer. Nobody wanted him. Yeah, you can't really falter that comment. Like, he did come out. I was looking at the press today. I see Ferdinand has some of the United players are kind of trying to smoothen it over. I won't say fully defend Ronaldo, but they're trying to make it not as a big deal as possible, saying it's been a misunderstanding between him and the club. The only pundit I heard trying to defend him was Graham Souness.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's trying to defend him. Like, Souness absolutely slated Lukaku when he was in the same situation last year.
Well, I think Graham Souness, everyone knows my thoughts on Graham Souness. I think he's a fool. And he's so contradictory. And I think he takes any excuse to dig the club out a little bit more. And I think that's the only reason why he's siding with, Cristiano Ronaldo. But look, I there's certain things, like I said there, that I totally agree with, and I'm sure we will hear the full interview, tomorrow.
Yeah, the only thing is, we can't buy into it too much yet, because still has a lot has to come still. Like, Piers Morgan took snippets there, what he thinks will get people talking. He's got the whole half the world talking. Yeah, from the snippets he's taken out. That a lot of these could be taken out of context. I know it can't be massively taken out of context. You can hear him saying it, but the whole interview should be interesting. But it does put one thing. It puts United. I said it on the podcast last week. United go 2 steps forward. They think they're getting a bit of clear ground, and they go 3 backwards. It's been a few rough years for them.
Right, and I understand what you're saying. I don't think this is a backward step. And the reason why I don't is because I think Erik ten Hag has handled this situation perfectly. I really do. So, obviously, Ronaldo steps out of line. He's reprimanded. He brings him. Ronaldo refuses to come onto the pitch. That's a sackable offence. Not a sackable offence, but it's grounds for, right, you're never playing for the club again. Stick him in the reserves until the next transfer window. Ten Hag, reprimanded him. He got a 1-game ban, and he was back into the team. And he's actually been playing an awful lot over the last maybe 4 or 5 weeks. And I think Ten Hag knows that he handled it well as well. You know what I mean? He said, look, these are the rules. If you don't follow the rules, you get reprimanded. And I think Go on.
Sorry there to interrupt you. I'm just looking at Twitter here, and there's only after there 15 minutes ago, there's after been a new release of a new clip of this, where Cristiano Ronaldo states, "I couldn't make pre-season because of family issues. The board and the president of Manchester United didn't believe me that something was going wrong. This made me feel very bad. It hurts me. We spent 1 week in hospital with my daughter, but they doubted my words."
Yeah, well, that's on the owners of the club.
But this
That's, you know,
flips it too. Like if I
well,
had bosses and if I was calling in sick to work, because if I had a daughter and she was sick and they were like making out as if they didn't really believe me that she was sick,
yeah.
like this, like it can turn tables in a bit. Like,
Well, it can, but if he is so up in arms about this, why doesn't he go to Manchester United and say, terminate my contract? I'll tell you why, because he's earning fucking 500 grand a week. You know what I mean? So money comes into it as well in the back of it. Now, obviously, you know, the health of a child, and obviously he did lose a child, which is, you know, something unthinkable. But you have to weigh it up, and that is, you know, if that's the way he feels and that's the way it happened in relation to pre-season, then that's on the owners and the hierarchy that said they didn't believe him. You know, I don't see how he turns around to the manager and sticks the knife into him. I don't understand why he sticks the knife into Ralph Rangnick, who's not even at the club anymore. You know what I mean? It's just, but going back to what you were saying there about a backward step, I think Ronaldo's hanging himself here. I really do, because what club in the right mind is going to come out and buy Cristiano Ronaldo and pay him minimum 300 grand a week after he's airing all of his dirty laundry on his current club? Like, what club is going to want to buy him now?
I'd go to Arsenal if I was him, and I hope they win the league.
Why would Mikel Arteta buy him? Mikel Arteta,
because he's Cristiano Ronaldo.
It doesn't
And
matter.
he's not buying him. He's getting him for free.
Yeah, but he's after getting rid of one troublemaker in the dressing room already with Aubameyang, because he wants to set a certain culture within the club. And we can see the benefits of that now. Why would he reverse it and bring in a lad that the whole club has to revolve around?
I don't think Ronaldo is going to get a Real Madrid or back to someone like that, Juventus. But I don't think that he will be stuck for a big club.
Maybe not, but by all accounts,
he's obviously not going to go to PSG like with Messi and that there mid-season anyway.
But by all accounts, he was supposedly, if a suitable suitor did come in for him last summer, he was going to be allowed to leave, but no one came in for him. You know,
yeah.
So I don't know. It's I the only way I can see it now is, and I have been looking on Twitter, and I've been trying to, you know, filter it by the, you know, the tier one journalists, you know, the Duckers and in the Telegraph, and, you know, lads like that, you know, and they've been saying now that United are looking at, you know, legal action against him if possible to terminate a contract and things like that. Like, even like it go like how petty it was, like, for him to come out and talk about Wayne Rooney and say, I don't know why, you know, he criticizes me when he wasn't.
Rooney did criticize him a bit, like, and I always thought that with Rooney too. And I like Rooney. I don't like Ronaldo having a pop off Rooney, but Rooney has previously had pops off Ronaldo, and I was like, why? You had a good partnership, you had a good friendship. Why are you popping off him?
Well,
and Rooney did on numerous occasions.
Well, basically, all that Rooney said was that Roy Keane wouldn't allow. Basically, he was saying Roy Keane wouldn't have allowed that in his dressing room, you know. But for Ronaldo to turn around then and say, maybe it's because I'm still playing and he's not, and I'm better looking than him. I mean, come on, man. You're not fucking 14 years of age.
He's
you
better
know what I mean?
looking than him, though.
Yeah, he's better looking than him. But Jesus Christ, the fucking goat would be able to tell you that, you know. I don't know. Do you see a solution to this other than him terminating his contract?
No, way.
To me, it just seems like it's bridges burned now. And yeah, let's get into some of the comments here, see what people are saying. Liam says, how on earth have the Glazers lasted so long? DKC says, enough about Ronaldo. Ricey shows the rest of your sitting room. Robbie D says, that's his lounge. Let's see. Who would want him in their club now, says Ben. Paul says, if he was a real man, knock on Ten Hag's door and trash it out like men, not to be petty and go to a media stunt like that. Twig says, Ricey is speaking facts. But yeah, look, I don't want to dwell on it too much longer.
No, we will see over once this interview comes out. Like, we'll be talking on a pod next Monday. It'll make things a lot clearer. Like, we're playing a guessing game now. We're after getting not even 3 minutes worth of clips of a 90-minute interview. Like, this could be put out in any way. They're putting out little spoilers, little teasers to get everybody interested. This could be nearly totally taken out of context. Not taken out of context because Piers Morgan isn't looking to do Cristiano Ronaldo because they're friends. This wasn't really an interview as such. It was more of a conversation. Piers Morgan isn't quizzing him on things that Cristiano Ronaldo won't be able to answer or will find difficult to answer.
Yeah.
Do you get my drift? Like, like, this is all pre-planned, premeditated. It's not going into like an interview room where he doesn't know what's going to be thrown at him.
Yeah, well, I was listening to TalkSport today, and Piers Morgan was on talking about it, and that's the one question that I think it was Laura Woods was asking him. Said, "Have you challenged him on any of these statements in the full interview?" And he says, "Yeah, I have. You'll see it in it. I have challenged him on some points, but I totally agree with you. This is going to be, Piers Morgan is not going to sit down with Ronaldo without Ronaldo dictating the way the interview is going to go. You know what I mean?
Piers Morgan be sucking the cock off him."
Jesus Christ.
But one thing you could say to Cristiano Ronaldo, and it's a life lesson here, you don't return to your toxic ex.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they'll drag you into their toxic shit, and that's what United are after doing to Ronaldo.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, look, I don't know. I mean, it just annoys the life out of me, saying I don't respect the manager, and then he announced he wanted to leave. He refused to come on as a sub. He walked off the bench. He left before the game finished, and he thinks that he's been disrespected. He's, and another thing, before we finish up on Ronaldo, this throwaway statement to try and get the fans on his side saying, I love the fans and I love the club and, they've always supported me. I don't fucking think they're supporting him on this one. I really don't, because if you do what he's done, and again, I know we've only seen, a few minutes of clips, but by the looks of it, he's gone all out war against Manchester United as a club, and supporters do not, take that lightly. As much as we love Ronaldo and as much as we love what he's done for the club, we support Manchester United and not Cristiano Ronaldo, So, anyway, let's get on to more positive things. Obviously, Manchester United had a good win. Well, I won't say a good win, a good result. Not particularly a good performance against Fulham yesterday. And of course, the star of the show was Garnacho. And again, look, us as United fans and fans in general can get very carried away when you see a young prospect coming through like that. Again, you not being a Manchester United fan, I'd like to get your take on him in relation to how good you think he is, or how good he potentially could be.
Yeah, sorry, say that again there, Jack. Sorry, I was in. Sorry.
You know we're live, yeah.
I know. I was thinking there about Ronaldo.
Right, so Garnacho. I'd like your take as, again, an outsider. The fact that United fans and fans in general can get carried away when a new player comes through like this, a new prospect. But you looking from the outside in, how good do you think he is? And maybe how good potentially do you think he can be?
Well, look, it's very early doors from yet, but he has hit the ground running. From an outside perspective, he looks very exciting in one of the kind of top clubs. The last person that we've kind of maybe seen come on the scene like this, you could maybe say, and I'm not saying I know there's a long way to go yet, but is potentially someone like Phil Foden.
Yeah.
Big club.
I thought you were going to say Phil Jones.
No. Just to come on the scene like this, like, as I said, he has a long way to go, but that winner he scored the other night was a big statement. I didn't know a whole lot about him, so I had to do a bit of looking up on him. I thought he came through United's academy because the way
No.
United were letting on, they were kind of letting on in our academy player. United paid 420,000 for him as a 16-year-old. So
Yeah,
this lad
right,
is
let's go.
coming to United with a big reputation. It's not as if United created this player. I thought like he's been with United since he's 10 or 11 years old. This is the way like the paper, Twitter, all be giving off these vibes. He came, they battled it out, I read, with Borussia Dortmund and Real Madrid for a signature and paid 420,000 for a 16-year-old. Now they're starting to reap the rewards of that. He looks like a fine player, fantastic player on that left. Even the ball, was it last week he did that? He gave that ball in for the goal.
Yeah, for McTominay.
Yeah. Like,
he had 2 assists that night.
Yeah. And then I see people worried. I was reading things about contracts and all this. He's under contract till 2025. He is going nowhere. The thing that I feel bad for him for is after scoring that goal the other night, last night, the gloss.
He's not under contract, is he?
He's under contract till 2025, yes.
Where did you see that? Because
I just read that earlier on. They were saying that people were saying that was the end of the 2023 season. And it said that he's under contract till 2025.
Yeah, well, I thought his contract was up next year as well, personally. But anyway, go on, sorry.
And it's there, like, or from what I was reading and seeing, that Cristiano Ronaldo was an idol of his. He should have been the back page of all the sports sections of every paper today for scoring that winner last night at 18 years old.
Yeah.
And that was just completely overshadowed by Cristiano Ronaldo, what he done.
Yeah.
Like, completely overshadowed. United finished, I know they had a loss last week to Villa, but they finished the midpoint of the season strong. They're just outside the top 4, isn't it? They're in 5th.
In 5th, yeah. 3 points behind with a game in hand.
Yeah, 3 points behind with a game in hand. And their goal difference is a good bit worse. But look, had you not slipped up to Villa there last week, you'd be practically in that top 4 with your game in hand.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And even some of the other games, though, Ricey, and as well, like, take the Newcastle game. We should have won that Newcastle game. The Chelsea game, maybe if we had taken our chances in the first half, we would have been out of sight. You know what I mean? So we have left points behind us,
Yeah. You have left points behind you. Look, you probably would have taken this at the start of the season.
Absolutely.
Like, season bit more than just a little under halfway, and games will come thick and fast after this World Cup. The one thing is you don't want players to get injured at the World Cup. But back to Garnacho, I was reading there that Ten Hag, I was seeing if he played in pre-season and he didn't play at, and he played the last game. Who did you play, Sociedad or?
Yeah, Real Vallecano. Yeah.
And he got minutes in that match, but up until then, in your pre-season tour, he hadn't got any games. And Ten Hag said he had a bad attitude. He was late for training.
That's right.
Not that he feared for his future at United, but he didn't know how much of a professional he was going to be.
Yeah.
But Ten Hag stated then that his mentality improved in recent weeks. They gave him his debut against Sheriff, and look, he hasn't looked back. I think he's at a club where he can improve with the team, and he can actually be a solution to certain situations or problems that United may have.
Yeah.
He's very young. He's not going to be starting every game.
No, and you don't want him starting every game because you want
he can be bled into it. I know you'd love to give him that 7 jersey. I wouldn't give it to him just yet.
Would you not? I think now, me personally, again, I was under the impression that United have a new contract on the table for him.
I think there is now. I think there is to get tied up. Obviously, he'll probably be now going on a contract on 70.
Do you know what I think it could be, Ricey? I think what it could be is that his contract is ending in the summer, but United have an option of a further year that they have to trigger. But they would have triggered that already.
No, I read 2025 anyway.
Yeah.
But
anyway, look, regardless of it, I have a feeling that the young lad hasn't signed a new contract yet to suss out the situation with Ronaldo. And if Ronaldo goes, I just have a feeling the young lad looks confident. He looks like a kind of lad that would say, I'll take it. He looks like he has a set of shoulders on him that could carry that. Now look, he might turn into a Antonio Valencia wearing fucking number 7 and end up giving it back after one season, but the kid has so much talent. I mean,
I think bring him down there, give him 19 or something there for a few seasons, 2 seasons, then see where he's at with 7. He doesn't need that.
Who else would you give it to? Would you, who Anthony? Anthony would probably want it.
Yeah, Anthony looks like a lad that like the United number 7, slits in his eyebrows and white socks under his socks and stuff.
You had slits in your eyebrows before. I've seen pictures of you in your early 20s with fucking slits in your eyebrows. But yeah, I think it'd be either one of them if Ronaldo does go. When Ronaldo does go, Jadon Sancho is not going to take it. So Jadon
Sancho, he can nearly do one.
Yeah, I mean, he really, really needs to get his act together in this World Cup break. He has a chance now to.
He doesn't even seem too bothered though. He doesn't complain really about not playing, does he? He's happy out there on 150k a week.
He's on more than that, I'd say.
Is he?
Fuck, he is. This is Manchester United we're talking about. Phil Jones is on 150k, I think, and he's not even in the Premier League squad.
And he still won't give up his jersey.
Big fuck he won't. But yeah, like this Garnacho, I mean, for him to have so much composure on the ball and like his finishing, like the 2 goals he scored, now the one in Europa League where he buried it in the top corner, and then the one against Fulham the other night was a similar kind of a finish, only it was in the bottom corner. I just love the positivity of him. Every time he gets on the ball, he's looking to take on the fullback, not looking to go backwards, keep possession. And look, there is times where he runs down he runs into a dead end, but I'll take that, 5, 6, 7 times in a game if he scores goals every game the way he's been scoring. And I just think sky's the limit for him. And I think I 100% agree with you. The fact that I think he's at the right club where he can progress in a team that's basically only starting out, and that's been built from the ground up. And I think he has a very good manager that'll keep his feet on the ground and that can improve him and get him to, the dizzying heights that he potentially, can get to. So yeah,
there's just going to be a lot of pressure on him. There's going to be, again, he's only 18. We'll see where he goes. Like, few lads, look at McCade and them over the years that burst on and played well for 4 or 5 months and then just kicked the bucket and went. I see it just on the comment section here from Paul Gregory. Said, but isn't that the problem United have at the minute? There is not many senior players with the right attitude to show the younger players the proper professionalism. And this could be very true. If some of the younger players see the older players not showing respect around and they all look up to Ronaldo, and if he's walking around the place sulking, Ronaldo's such a big figure that if he's walking around United sulking, immediately other people are going to be unhappy just because they see that he's unhappy.
Yeah, absolutely. But look, I do think I don't think that's going to be an issue in this. I don't think the manager would allow it to become an issue. I think the mentality we've seen in Manchester United this season has been a breath of fresh air, given what we've seen over the last couple of years with, weak-minded teams and soft teams, and I think the new signings have had a lot to do with that. Martinez coming in, Casemiro coming in, Eriksen coming in, even the likes of Malacia, still has a long way to go before.
Long way.
But even I think, the mentality that he brings in, wanting to improve every day, wanting to get back into the team.
Well, I think he's a young lad that as well appreciates playing for a club of Manchester United stature, one of the biggest clubs.
Absolutely. So I don't see that as being a big problem. I think Ten Hag is doing the right thing with Ronaldo to weed out this, very similar to what Mikel.
Well, you have lads there with stink attitudes. Like, I presume Sancho doesn't have the best of attitudes.
Well, by all accounts, Sancho is like the shyest person in the world.
Tony Marshall's attitude stinks at the best of times.
Yeah, maybe
Even the way he
so.
carries himself around the place.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of that is to do with how he carries himself. By all accounts, he's not the worst in the world. Like a lot of people think Bruno has a terrible attitude, but he has a very good one within the dressing room. You know what I mean? Um, I don't see it as being an issue. I really don't, and I think we can see that in the mentality that's being built within the team. Like even with say the Fulham game the other night, and it's a couple of times we were after doing it where we haven't been playing well, but we're scoring goals and we're getting these last minute goals, kind of, not giving up.
Yeah, look, you can't beat a last minute winner, 93rd or
No,
4th minute winner.
brilliant,
Like,
brilliant.
even if it was against Fulham, it's not the
Yeah.
easiest to get away place to go to.
And you know what? Fulham were the better team on the night, I have to say.
But that's been the story of United season. A lot of games.
I know, Ricey, but
we've won a lot of games where you haven't been the better team.
Yeah,
but
I know.
If you're winning and you're not playing well, it's a good sign too.
Yeah, exactly. Because what happens then is when you do start playing well, you start steamrolling teams, hopefully. And I said it on the channel very early on in the season that it's not going to be smooth sailing. It's not going to be like that with United. It's going to be up. It's going to be down. You're going to have your scenarios where we go on a 6-game winning streak, or was it a 5-game winning streak we went on, like with the Liverpool and Arsenal ones thrown into that. And then you're going to have these little sticky patches, where
you also told me that Garnacho was going to the World Cup with Argentina.
I thought he was, but I
didn't even have a cap for Argentina.
He played with he was in one of the squads, but maybe he didn't play. He was in the provisional squad. But yeah, I thought he was going. But look, it's probably no harm that he's not going, to be quite honest with you.
He's 4 caps for the under-20s. He was actually born in Spain, in Madrid.
Yeah, but that's why they put him into the team, because they wanted to get him capped, to get him tied down or something. I remember reading. But yeah, look, there's no rush on that kid. You know what I mean? He'll be in him eventually. Anyway,
what do you think of Dan James?
Look, I mean, if it was anyone else scoring against you, that if it was anyone else that he scored against, I'd be happy for him. I've nothing against Dan James.
No, I don't think
I liked him.
Yeah, I don't think he could. Like, he just wasn't really good enough.
Nah,
but
he just didn't cut the
best.
mustard. Yeah, he did. And
cut the mustard. I never heard that.
You never heard that one before?
Never heard that. I do have something noted down here, though, that me and you have a €50 bet on.
We do. On
the Arsenal. The Gunners.
Wouldn't be like you by 50 quid. Yeah, I'll write that one down just in case I forget.
50 beans, 50 sheets, 50 that they will finish above Manchester United.
Yeah, well, right, let's get into our obviously it's not mid-season, but
break. It's the break for the mid-season anyway.
It's the break. But let's talk about our predictions first and foremost, and how we think we've got on with them. Obviously, look, if we knew what was going to happen, we'd be millionaires. It'd be straight down to Ladbrokes. You know what I mean? But go on, you go first with yours.
With my predictions for the end of the season, is it, or how our predictions are going so far?
Well, yeah, so go with how your predictions are going so far, and then
our predictions going so far. My predictions were City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham. That was my top 4. Chelsea 5th, United 6th. So, look, I have 3 of the top 4 teams there. Didn't think Newcastle would be doing this well.
Oh, jeez, I don't think anyone did.
Kind of had a feeling Arsenal would. I predicted them to come 3rd. Maybe I predicted them to come 4th and Tottenham 3rd. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, look, Liverpool are just letting me down there big time. But they're after springing a bit of life back into it. I think they've won 8 out of their last 10 or something there.
Yeah, they're grinding out results, in fairness to them.
Like, they're way off the lead, but they're not way off top 4.
No, they're only, let me see, they're 7 points off with a game in hand.
Yeah, with their game in hand too. And as we said, like, there's 14 games played, so 24 games left this season to play. Still plenty to play for. And they have been ravaged with injuries, to be fair to him. I know, like, you're kind of probably delighted seeing him having this blip. But
of course. Well, it's just nice seeing United ahead of them for once over the last
years. Yeah. Which, look, that's fair enough. But, like, move on to your predictions there, or just if we were looking at the bottom end of the table, I can't even fully remember what I did. I remember I had Nottingham Forest down there.
Yeah.
I think like Bournemouth down there, and I don't even know for definite who else.
Yeah.
I didn't,
I had Leeds, Bournemouth, and
surely
Fulham.
Nottingham Forest. Fulham, was it?
I think I had Fulham in it. Yeah, I'm pretty certain I had Fulham in it.
Yeah.
But like I had Nottingham Forest just outside the relegation. I had them in 17th.
Yeah.
But for Southampton and Wolves, like Wolves are rock bottom of the table. On 10 points. Now there's not a lot in it down there. There's only 6 points between 20th and 14th. You know what I mean? So it is tight enough. My predictions at the start, obviously I went with City first, Liverpool second. I went with Spurs in third and United in fourth.
So you're the same as me. You had 3 of the 4 there.
No.
Do you not? Oh no, you.
I only have 2 because I put Arsenal just outside. Obviously, I had my United hat on. I had Arsenal finishing in 5th, which I think I had Arsenal finishing in 6th.
Yeah, I don't even know if you had them
Chelsea
in
in 5th.
I don't even know if you had them in the top 6 because you used to give Arsenal a very hard time.
No, I did. I had
remember,
I had him finishing 6th, just below Chelsea.
You went with Arsenal, or you went with United into top 4 because I remember specifically. You said, "Will I go with me heart or me head?" And I told you your head is big enough, so you may go with that.
So you couldn't remember what position I went with, but you could remember saying my head was big enough. Yeah, that makes
Harry
sense.
Maguire head on you.
That makes sense.
And he's gone. Is he? He'll be going at the end of the
Maguire,
season.
Yeah, look.
I see Leicester are interested. 15 million. I was reading.
Yeah, look. I think I'm liking the fact that there's so much rootlessness there with Ten Hag. I mean, he's also said about Donny van de Beek, who he's worked with before and has great time for. He has to fucking prove himself, and if he's not, he's gone. So
yeah, it's 100% right. It's 100% right. Jeez, he's had a whirlwind start to his Manchester United
managerial career.
Yeah.
Ricey, I think he's handled it. I mean, give me a scenario that he hasn't handled well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I don't know that many scenarios, so like, that's not making out as if he's like unbelievable.
No, I'm just saying, like, how he handles the media, I think, is very good. He handles the Harry Maguire situation very good at the start of the season in relation to the captaincy, and people were saying you're going to change the captain. He handled multiple Ronaldo scenarios perfectly. I think he's doing a brilliant job. I really do. And it's not just saying that as a United fan. Look, I think he's absolutely brilliant. And I think given the time and the resources, in a couple of years, I think hopefully we'll be challenging for titles, whether we win them or not.
In a few years, is that what, like, so when would you want to be challenging for a title?
I would want to be challenging for a title in his 3rd season. So I would give him this year to go for top 4, next year to 100% be in the top 4, and then the 3rd
So next year's not even a challenge?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. And the reason I think that is because of the depth in the squad at the moment. We spent 200 million in the summer and we're still paper thin, And if we're talking about selling Harry Maguire, selling Donny van de Beek, selling Fred, there are 3 signings that you have to make up the numbers, and we're still paper thin with that. It's going to be another 2 summer transfer windows, I think, before he really has the squad that he can say, right, I'm happy with this, let's go.
And do you think overall Manchester United fans are happy with that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. The energy that I'm getting and the kind of feedback that I'm getting off of doing these videos and doing the lives and stuff, I think United fans are happy with the long game because of how positive it's been in such a short period of time under Ten Hag. I think if we were playing the same way that we played last year with, weak mentality and, fucking bending over for teams, I think then there'd be questions going saying, oh man, how long is this going to go on for? But the fact that he's turned it around so quickly, he has us playing a good style of football, and he has us fucking fighting forever. And the men, within the Manchester United fan base, I think there's a real likability to this team, where fans are fucking right behind the team. you know, you see when we score goals, like say the goal away at Chelsea and things like that. So yeah, I'm happy with him, man. I really am. I think he's doing a great job. And if the upward trajectory is as steep as it has been in the last 3 to 4 months since he's taken over, then we'll get there a lot quicker. But I don't think we'll keep the trajectory going as quickly. But a couple of cups along the way, you would hope, if we can. Obviously, we don't have a good draw in the Europa League, but I mean, that would be a statement of intent if you could get over that Barcelona draw, you know, and get into the last 16 of the.
Yeah, the worst Barcelona side in 15 years.
But they're still top of La Liga.
Yeah.
You know what I
Says
mean?
a lot for La Liga.
Yeah, it does. I know that. But you still have fucking Lewandowski that's playing up through the middle. You know what I mean? So.
But you have Martinez, who you rave about.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. But he's suspended. He's suspended for the first round of it.
Oh, is he?
In the new camp? Yeah. So,
we will move on to Team of the Year, and then we'll finish up with a bit of World Cup.
Yeah.
Ticket.
Right, go on. Off you go. Team of the Year. I'll leave it to you first. So this is our team of the season so far, guys. Anyone who's in the comments, who's watching there, if you want to get your team of the season in as well, let us know in the chat. But yeah, give us your team of the season.
Okay, so I'm going with a 4-1-3-2. I'd never play that formation in anything, but it's a formation that fits the players I want to put in here.
Right.
So in the goal, it was very tight between Pope and Ramsdale. They both have 7 clean sheets each. They're both doing very well, but look, I have to go with Ramsdale. They're top of the league at the break. I have to give it to Ramsdale. Right full is Trippier, captain of Newcastle. I actually watched the whole Newcastle and Chelsea match the other day. Newcastle actually play some fantastic football.
Yeah.
They play some great football to watch. That Bruno Guimaraes in midfield is an absolute baller. 2 centre halves. You'll enjoy this one. I'm going with the 2 centre halves from Arsenal. The 2 centre halves from Arsenal, they're in left full Cancelo. And then CDM sitting in front of them, Rodri. 3 attackers, Kevin De Bruyne, Odegaard, and James Maddison. Up top is Ivan Toney and Haaland. And look, it's the midpoint. It's open to debate. It's open to argument. You could say Almiron could be in there. I don't have any Manchester United players in there. The only player that I think from Manchester United, if I could or if I may put in there, would be Martinez. But for Martinez to play well, I'd have to put Varane in there too.
Right, okay. Okay. You don't think he's played well since Varane's got injured?
I think he's done all right, but I think he's the butcher. Like Varane is the surgeon. I'm not taking it from him.
Yeah.
Like Varane is your Rolls Royce defender that like the two of them just bounce off each other, play very well together. And I like playing beside Varane one week and then Lindelof the others, like playing beside chalk and cheese. you know, Lindelof followed his lad out to right wing 2 weeks ago. Who brushed him off in midfield? Ollie Watkins.
Yeah.
Left a gaping hole in the back.
Martinez
like Lindelof. Did. No, not Martinez.
Lindelof.
And I'm saying this takes down Martinez's performance then, because you're obviously not playing beside a player of the same quality as you were the week before.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's not a bad team. I've got a couple of Manchester United players in. I'll let you know that straight away. Obviously it's called the United Community Channel and I love United, so I've gone with, again, I was a flip of a coin, like you said, between Pope and Ramsdale. I've actually gone with Pope, because, and you know, I was looking at stats and I was looking at everyone. I was saying, Jesus, this is so close. But what tipped it for me is that he has more points in the fantasy.
Yeah, and I went on and I looked at fantasy too, and there's plenty of other keepers with more points than Ramsdale. What just tipped it for me though was that they're top of the Premier League. And their and Newcastle's defense are the 2 best defenses in the Premier League. Yeah.
DKC, I don't know, is that Decky Casey? Says no Liverpool player Ricey, you're a bad egg.
That's the original slabhead.
So I've gone with Pope in the goal. I've gone with Delort at right back, I think, and that's that's a personal choice. I think he's been phenomenal for United this season, and I think I think it showed last night against Fulham how much we missed him when Malassi was playing at right back. He's after. I think probably one of the main reasons why I wanted to put him in is how much he's improved. Where he's went from basically non-existence at Manchester United to saying,
look, as we said,
saying now we need a backup right back, not an actual proper right back. You know what I mean?
As we said, it's all a matter of opinion. I just don't know how you have him in there ahead of Trippier.
Anyway, I've thought, go on.
If you're just not being biased and just trying to fit a United player in there, like Trippier's
Well, I'm not.
being the best right foot in the Premier League this season.
Yeah, I disagree.
The only United player you could try and fit in.
No, I have another one in as well. So I've gone with Cancelo, obviously at left back. I've gone with Saliba and Martinez as the two. Because
that would have been my other two, to be fair.
Yeah, because I think Saliba is the kind of Varane version at Arsenal. You know what I mean? No, he's that raw rice. I think they would work very well together. I've gone with a 4-3-3 as well. Kind of a 4-1-2-3. I've gone with Xhaka, De Bruyne, and Odegaard in the middle. So that's three Arsenal players.
I actually have written down on mine Rodri / Xhaka.
Yeah,
but I was like, it's kind of, I had given a few Arsenal players the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
and like City are up there with them too. So
yeah, well, I think the main reason why I gave it to Xhaka ahead of Rodri is the fact that he's literally after coming from nowhere. He was written off.
I 100% agree. I 100% agree.
And I think Odegaard
is a baller.
Yeah, he's silky smooth, really, isn't he?
He could be, I think, at this current point, obviously with Haaland, he could be right up there at this current point for Premier League Player of the Year. Up to this point.
Absolutely. And sure, look, De Bruyne is De Bruyne then as well. So he's definitely going in. And the three up top, slightly off balance a little bit. Obviously, Haaland goes through the middle. I put Almiron on one of the wide positions, and I have Ivan Toney as well.
Yeah.
But you could easily slot that into a 4-2, a 4-1.
3-2. That's what I done.
Like what you have. You know what I mean? Like you could have Xhaka sitting with De Bruyne, Odegaard, and fucking Almiron there, and Tony and Haaland up front, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? But I think Almiron is absolutely burning it up.
He is, and I felt bad for leaving him out, but I just gave Maddison the nod there. I think he has 7 goals and 4 or 5 assists.
Do you reckon Maddison gets into the England team? Think he starts?
I don't know. I think what's it called? Southgate could be doing this in a way. Remember a few years ago he brought, was it to the last Euros that he brought Grealish? But he almost brought Grealish because he was bowing to the pressure of everybody being like, Grealish had very few caps, if any caps, I think, before that Euros. Maybe had 1 or 2 caps. And like everyone was like, how isn't he bringing Grealish? You know, Grealish should be at this. Then he brought Grealish and played him very little. But I think it was nearly more to keep the mentality happy, or to keep the crowd happy, if that makes sense. I'd like to see Maddison doing it. He's kind of copped on in recent years. He's used to have a fierce bad attitude.
Yeah.
Again,
it's a good segue, though. It's a good segue. So we'll move on into the World Cup. And first of all, I'd like to know your thoughts, obviously, on the Winter World Cup, and what do you make of it? And are you looking forward to it? Is it something you'd rather have in the summer? What do you make of it being switched to the winter?
Wouldn't be the biggest fan of it now, to be honest. But look, it's here. We have to get up with it. We may embrace it and enjoy it while it's here, but I would much rather a summer World Cup. I would much rather summer pints, watching World Cups in the beer garden, having something to look forward to like that for the summer. Like, we already have a feast of football coming up to Christmas anyway. I'd be more than happy just to see the Premier League for the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And then look forward to the Christmas festive period. Now we're going to watch I don't think we'll really realise the World Cup is actually on until we start watching the first few games, and you see maybe your Senegal's playing someone else, or some of these lower teams and you see their fans all out in full colours and voice, kind of gets into the mood for it. But Jesus, very, very tough on the players. Even if they are on 300 grand a week and people are like, oh, they get paid enough. We played junior football and you could train Tuesday, train Thursday, match Sunday, and then maybe during the summer months you might have a match on a Sunday, a match on a Wednesday, and a match on a Sunday for 2 consecutive weeks. And lads would be picking up injuries left, right, and centre, and you'd be very tired. You'd be complaining on the Wednesday, your legs are still tired from the Sunday. I know they do this full time and they're on big money, but people get worn out.
10 pints of Guinness after a match like we would either.
No, but people get worn out.
Yeah,
like they're only human.
There has to be something done about it. I totally agree with you. And I have a feeling, I've said this before, I don't know if I've said it on the podcast, but I have a feeling if match fixtures, if they keep piling on match fixtures and new tournaments, and, you can now have more teams in a tournament and this and that, and there are more games. Eventually what's going to happen is players are going to go on strike, and they're just going to say, all right, we're not playing, and I can see that happening down the line if this continues to go on. Like player welfare has to come into it at some point, because, we've seen only 18 months ago, Christian Eriksen, now obviously had nothing got to do with, the fact that he was maybe played too much. I don't think that had an impact on it. It was just maybe a condition that he had, but you're going to burn players out if you're playing them too much. And like, there was one thing I think I heard there, that if Argentina, for example, get to the World Cup final, and they play in the World Cup final, say Martinez that plays for United will have a game 3 days later in the Premier League, I think. Or the Carabao Cup or something.
Is it not Man City and Liverpool are fixed for their Carabao Cup on, I think, December the 18th, and the World Cup final is December the 17th.
Yeah, we're the same. We're playing 2 days later, I think.
Oh, yeah, but you've no worries anyway. Do you have anyone gone to the World Cup?
Fuck off. Don't be annoying me.
But
anyway, what do you reckon? Who do you think? Who are you going with?
I know you're going Brazil. I seen it on your channel there, on your TikTok. So you're going supporting Brazil. Deep down, I'd like to see Brazil win it, yeah. But look, for the crack, I'll go Argentina.
Yeah.
I'll just go someone different. I'd be happy to see either of them two win it. Look, it would be unbelievable to see Messi lift the World Cup.
It would be.
It would really. After this whole, whatever this you'd call this, that Ronaldo's going through at the minute. If Messi won that World Cup, he'd be the GOAT. I'd change from Ronaldo to Messi if he wins it.
I would, and it's not got to do with the fact that I don't like Ronaldo anymore. But and I used to be Messi, and then when Ronaldo done it in different leagues, I switched to Ronaldo, and it was in that kind of period where Messi went to PSG.
You'd have to be Ronaldo though, being a United fan.
No, I was Messi all along. Even when, well, obviously, Ronaldo was after going, and when he was ripping it up with Real Madrid, I was still saying, nah, Messi's just special. But then I switched to Ronaldo because of obviously his goal scoring record, doing it in different leagues. But if Messi wins that World Cup, no one can touch him.
No, Brazil are due a World Cup though. Do you know
they are?
They haven't won a World Cup. When was it? 2002? 20 years.
Now, the one thing I would say as well is, I think Portugal have a sick team, sick squad. Do you not think so?
No.
Like, do you not look at some of the players that they have there and say,
hang on, I'll get it up here.
Like, especially in attacking areas, I think they have.
Yeah, but Jack, if you look at the teams, I was looking, so many teams are so top heavy. Just for instance, we'll go through the Argentina team here. Now, I know some of these are older, but like you have Messi, you have Lautaro Martinez, you have Dybala. Fuck it, they're not even that top heavy. Forget about it.
Right, let me give you the Portuguese team. Right?
Yeah.
So Costa, Rui Patricio, and Jose Sá as goalkeepers, 3 class goalkeepers, right?
Oh yeah, because they might use all 3 of them.
Yeah, but defenders, you have Cancelo, Dalot, Pepe, Ruben Diaz, Pereira, Antonio Silva, Nuno Mendes, and Guerrero. Okay. Midfield, you have William, Ruben Neves, Palhinha, Bruno Fernandes, Vitinha, Otavio, Mateus Nunes, Bernardo Silva, and João Mario. And then up
Sounds
front,
like
you have,
Brazil's B team.
and then up front you have Ronaldo, João Felix, Rafael Leao, Gonzalo Ramos,
Like
Andre Silva,
not being smart,
Porta.
not being smart. I know you're calling out all these players and you're calling them out as if they're class, but do you even know half them? I don't.
Yeah, I do.
Who's João Palhinha?
João Palhinha was playing last night for Fulham. Absolutely.
Fulham. Who's
Just-
Otavio?
I don't know who he is.
Or like
I don't know
who's-
all of them. I don't know
I know,
all
but
of
who's
them.
Vitinha? I just don't know. I don't know a lot of these.
Yeah, but I mean, you would pull a very strong starting 11 out of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know?
What team was it? Like, look how stacked Brazil are. Like Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo, Richarlison. I know he's not. Rafinha, Pedro, Neymar, Gabriel Martinelli, like Gabriel Jesus, Anthony. They're just all the attackers.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, Paul is asking, what's the German squad like? Go on, keep talking. I'll get it up there.
No, but German squad. I'll get the German squad here. I looked through the German squad the other day. In my opinion, it's not a great German squad. And the reason I'm saying it's not a great German squad is because I don't know a lot of the names. I know I'm not an expert, Ratton, but you generally would know a lot.
I mean, even they're like in defense there and looking at it now, the only two I really know are Rudiger and Schüller.
No, there's a good few of them there. A lot of them playing in Germany. There's a good few. I think there's 3 Dortmund defenders.
Yeah, but even their attackers, right? You have Sané, Muller, Kimmich, Kai Havertz. He's not really ripping it up either. Gundogan is there. Mario Götze.
I know, but they're like
getting on. Is it Gnabry
like
is there?
Unbelievable. But like if you match them up there with the Brazil team, how many of them will get into it? Maybe Goretzka would probably get into it.
Yeah.
You know, like how many of them would, like Kimmich would probably get around there. But like none of them attackers would really get in there.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I'm not saying, I'm just saying that's just a matter of opinion that I didn't think it was that strong a Germany team. But
so,
look, it is the World Cup.
But I mean, right, are you saying then it's basically between Brazil and
No, I don't know what way the draw goes after. Can they meet before the final? Like if they can meet before the final?
I think they're separate. Someone said they were now. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, like the Netherlands actually have a decent squad. Well, they've a decent 11 anyway.
Yeah. But it's crazy that they've never won a World Cup. But you can never write out. No, they never won one. No.
I actually got pulled out in a draw for we did a yoke there in work, and I got pulled out with. I have England. You get 2 teams each.
Yeah.
I have England and Mexico. So I don't even want to win the money.
Absolutely.
It's coming home.
Right, man. Let's wrap it up. I appreciate it, guys. Everyone who's watching and everyone who's listened. If you are listening back to this, please do give us a 5-star review. If you're listening on Spotify or wherever you do listen, please like the video as well if you're watching live on YouTube. We're going to be back on Sunday for the opening World Cup game. Watch along on the channel, guys, United Community channel on YouTube and on TikTok, so make sure you follow us over there. And of course then we'll be back next week with a podcast World Cup special. And yeah, keep an eye out on social media, guys. Daily Manchester United content on TikTok and on YouTube. But until the next time, appreciate it. Thanks for listening.